Well, hello everyone and welcome. Dori Soukup here, founder of InSPAration Management, and with me is Ms. Sarah Lamkin. And today we are discussing how important it is to have an effective business model. Do you ever wonder why so many businesses actually do great and then there are so many that actually fail and are miserable? Well, I get that question all the time. One of probably the biggest question I get all the time is, what can we do to succeed? And the answer to that is really very simple, is you've got to make sure you have an effective business model. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So we're going over my book, How to Make Millions with Your Medical Spa. And we are on part 1, chapter 2, which is how to implement an effective business model. I am super excited about this chapter. Though it's a small chapter, it has a lot of important information, and it really sets the foundation of what you're trying to do with your business. Having the business model is one of the most important things that really you could do for your business. So I want you to make millions, so you got to focus on having a good business model.
We want everyone to make millions.
Absolutely.
Because it's out there.
It's there for you to get it.
Yep. You have to ask for it and you will receive it.
That's right. And God Almighty says, ask and you shall receive. Praise the Lord.
Connie Chapman says, hi all.
Hi, Connie. We miss you. All right. Well, we have people actually joining us from all over. We're on 3 different platforms.
We are. We're on Zoom. We are on Instagram, and we are live on Facebook.
Woo-hoo.
So I always love going live.
And we're trying to figure out how to do YouTube live. That's your next homework. That's part of our new business model.
Giving Tara more homework?
No.
Wait.
Going
live on YouTube. I was like, wait a minute.
No, you have enough homework.
So if you are watching this on YouTube as a replay, as you know, we record all of these. Go ahead and ring that bell up on YouTube. We got to get a bell so
That's
we can
right.
ring it.
Well, I can do
we
this.
can make a little chime noise here. So ring the bell so that when we are live or we post any new videos, as we're always doing,
That's right.
You'll get a notification about those videos. If you're here on other social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, chime in, say hi, connect with us, wave, ask us questions. We have Sarah behind the scenes who is going to be
Say hi, Sarah.
shooting your
Hi,
questions.
Sarah.
Everyone say hi to Sarah. She's over there. So I see so many more people are just coming live here on Zoom, Dori, so it's so exciting.
Yeah.
So today, as everybody knows, we are doing your How to Make Millions with Your Medical Spa, and we're talking about chapter 2.
Yep.
We actually had someone today say they finished this whole book
That's right.
in like 2 days. So it was pretty amazing to see. They had just gotten it. So I love seeing that. Today we're discussing how to implement an effective business model, which we all know is the foundation of your practice, your med spa, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very important chapter because it sets, again, the foundation of what's to come. We get to do business plans for so many people, and this is really their business model. So as we go through, submit your questions to us. We're going to be answering them live. And then just so you know, we have a lot of pre-submitted questions from people who were reading the chapter last 2 weeks preparing for today. So we'll be answering their questions live for them.
And if you don't have the book yet,
I know.
you need to get your hands on one.
You can. So you can go on Amazon. This month, Dori is giving away her book for only $1 on Amazon, which is absolutely amazing. That way, while you're reading it, you can leave an amazing review for us. You can share with friends. You can share it on, yes, can share it on social media. So I'm so excited that we're doing this book gathering, teaching them all about their financial health, making sure they're avoiding costly mistakes, as we all know. Any solutions that you've written up. I mean, our business is full of solutions. That's all. That's what we do. We give you solutions for your challenges.
That's right.
I think.
All right.
Ready?
Well, let's start. Just want to recap a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
During the first chapter, we talked about financial health. And we discussed certain things that you can do. And I had invited you to go and take several different assessments that we have on InSPArationManagement.com. And I hope that you did go and take some of these assessments. We have a marketing one, a website one, a business one, a marketing one. So they serve you well because it's almost like having a to-do list, and you go down and see, okay, I'm doing this right. I'm doing this right. I need help with this. So it gives you a nice clarity once you do the assessments. So if you haven't done it, make sure you go and do that. So today is all about the business model. So it's a continuation of part one, which is financial health. And when we're talking about financial health, you really need to apply those 4 S's that we talk about all the time. Remember what they were? Does anybody remember? You want to go ahead and put them in that chat box? Let's see. By the way, we're giving away 1 Leap Ahead ticket. We're having a contest right now. I just did a bunch of videos to promote it. So we're giving away 1 Leap Ahead ticket at the end of October. So if you want to go ahead and be engaged, that's really all you have to do to qualify for it. Is just get engaged, leave some comments, share, subscribe to YouTube, and then we're gonna draw a winner. But that's the financial health is all about you being profitable. And when we're talking about profit, if you back up to the 4 S's, the systems, the structure, did anybody chime in to say what the 4 S's were? Come on, guys, 4 S's. Systems, structure, strategies, and solutions. So you notice that everything we teach fall into those 4 S's. And obviously the business model falls under all 4 S's, because really in the business model, you have to have all those. And that's what would equal the 5th S, which is success. So it's very key for you to really do this.
Sir, excuse me, can you just make sure? I've had a couple of doctors say they might be having some audio. Can you just make sure on the bottom down there that you see the green going up?
Hello, hello.
We have no difficulties, please, before we go too far. Okay.
We're good to go.
Looks like we're up.
So if you're having a little audio, you might want to turn it up a little, or maybe if you leave the group and then just come right back, it'll catch right on.
Yeah. All right. So in every one of these episodes, we usually try to share with you mistakes people make, things to avoid, and then how can you make your business better. So as we go along, those of you who have questions, comments, just make sure that you're able to reach out and see how we can help you. So, all right.
You ready?
Yeah.
So I think the first question is, what is a business model? I mean, that's like the
Yeah,
question of all questions.
I know it is. Actually, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
A business model, really put it simply, it's how you're going to make money in your business. It sounds so simple, but it's actually amazing to me how many people go into business and they haven't really outlined exactly to the exact method of how they're going to make money in the business. And that's really what a business model is all about, is figuring out how you're going to reach your financial goals. And the more in-depth your business model is, the better off you're going to be. And it's really key for you to focus on that.
Yeah. So, as part of this, talking about the business model, right, we help people start from the beginning. Last week, we talked about the business plan and all of that. And that's just the first step of their business model.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people think that the business model and the business plan are the same. Partly. Like the initial business plan, of course, outlines your business model for you. But then as you go into launching the business or adjusting things that you're doing right now that needs to be improved, then you need to fine tune the business model itself. Actually, Peter Drucker, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Peter Drucker. He was like Mr. Business philosopher back a few years ago. I think he passed away in 2005, but he's really the first person that started talking about the importance of a business model. If you have not read Peter Drucker's books, you really must. I mean, he's a genius. He was amazing. He's kind of like Napoleon Hill, like what we talked about, like Stephen Covey. He's that high up in the world of business. And he's really the first person that started talking about business models. And a lot of people think they get confused sometimes between the two. So I'm glad you asked that question. So the business plan is what you need to do when you first start. So it has a little bit of the model, excuse me, in it. And then you have to go in depth into the model itself.
So, you know, we get so many calls here, right? That's one thing everybody loves. And, you know, we're teaching our clients how to generate those leads from phone calls. And, you know, one of the most common calls we always get here, Dori, is I generated 40,000, but I'm still in the hole. Like
Generated millions and I'm
right.
still in the hole. Yeah.
So what are they doing wrong that they're still generating millions, but they're not really profitable yet?
Yeah, actually, that's almost everybody's situation. You could be making $1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and you know, this reminds me of one particular person. Actually, she had a place down in Boca, and the first time I had a conversation with her, she was making almost 2 million a year, and she was $40,000 in the hole. Like, how can you make $2 million a year, generate 2 million, and be 40,000 in the hole? Well, that's because she didn't have a business model. She was winging it. And when you wing it and you don't have a specific way that you're going to make money and everything is in place with those 4 S's we just talked about, then that's how you fail. You don't succeed. And it's very, very sad to me to see that happening because it's so fixable. That's the good news. I want to get you excited because it is so fixable. It's just a matter of implementing some key things within the business model to make it functional and to make it profitable. It makes a big thing. So that's really. What's so important about.
So why would you say most businesses get it wrong?
They don't plan. You know, my famous saying is people, you know, don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And if you don't take the time to really sit down and outline exactly how it is that you're going to make money, then again, you're doing things one way one day, you're doing things another way another day. It depends on which way the things actually end up blowing, which way the wind is blowing.
So what would be a piece of advice you would give to someone on how they could fix it?
Well, you really need to start with an assessment and take a look and see what is it exactly that you're doing right now, what's working, and then what is some of the situations or challenges that you have going on. So when we're talking about a business model, what's involved? You know, it's the business model that we teach. As a matter of fact, I'm sure we have some Leap Ahead graduates. Raise your hand if you're a Leap Ahead graduate. It's our 3-day seminar that we normally do in person, but now it's available on demand.
Robert's raising his hand.
Yes. So I talked a lot about the business model.
Yep, Tommy.
Yeah. So welcome, guys. It's great to see you
Their
again.
Their hands are just going up on Zoom, so I love it.
Good. So during the Leap Ahead, I talk about how important it is to have that business model that we teach. And it includes the way you generate leads, starting from there. And then what do we do with these leads? How do we make sure that your guest relations department is actually converting? And then doing the consultations and how important it is to customize programs. And then after the customized program, doing the membership so we can keep them into a lifetime client. So that's the business model that we teach here at InSPAration Management. And it is so effective, you guys, that if you follow it, if you follow the marketing modules from the Leap Ahead, if you follow the way we teach how to do the memberships, how to generate revenue, how to have all these different revenue streams. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the next chapter, different revenue streams. And so if you focus on that, and the first step of the business model is lead generation.
Right.
That's the most important thing, because you could have the best business model, but if you're not generating leads, you have nothing. You know, you can no longer operate under the old adage, build it and they'll come.
That is true.
You know, there's so much competition now. You can no longer do that. You can't just open and they come. You know, some may, but you really need to be purposeful in your actions.
Well, and you actually start chapter 2 saying no time is spent on how to generate revenue.
Yeah. That's really what it's all about.
Right.
That's why you need a business model. It's how are we going to make money?
Right. Well, and I think one thing that's constantly going, especially with our mastermind members, is we're always talking about time planning, right? You have to set your calendar and go by your calendar, and you have to make time to work on your business and not in it. And I mean, I did a call this morning with someone. Has a practice, but she's the only provider as the owner. And now her goal is to hire more people so that she can get out of the room. But then she's like, well, I'm not sure if I want to give them all the clients, you know, I'm losing money giving them the clients. And I'm like, imagine in a year, you're still going to be in the situation. You've been in business for 15 years.
Let me stop you here. You're not losing money.
Correct. And we did talk further about that.
Yeah, she's making more money. You know, but that's the mindset sometimes that they have, is they think that if they're going to hire someone and they're going to get out of the room, they're going to lose money. Right? That's really not the case. You're going to make more money because you're going to have more time to focus on your business model and perfecting it, because you're not going to be able to perfect your business model if you're in the treatment room doing treatments. That's just not going to happen. Well, I did a call this morning with a doctor who's just getting ready to open. She's a kidney doctor. What did I call them? Nephrologist? Something like that.
Nephrologist or something like that? Yeah.
So she's a kidney doctor, and she's like, oh, I'm just so over, you know, working in a hospital, and I have my practice, and I really just want a cash business model. I'm like, well, you're definitely calling the right place. And so many people are making the shift. So those are the smart people that call up and know that they don't know,
right? So
they can avoid the mistakes and not reinvent the wheel. And it really makes a big difference. It really does.
It sounds like you were almost on my call this morning, because that was the same thing, exactly what you said a moment ago. And that's where we took the conversation. So it's like, we're speaking the same language, but getting some people to convert over and realize that this is going to benefit them. I just told her, I'm like, you are a member, because she's a Flying High member. And I'm like, you're a member because you knew you needed us. This is why you're a member. So trust our system, trust our model, because it works. And just a minute ago, you were talking about memberships, right? The copy system. And I have to say, we have that webinar tomorrow where you're showing how we have a member that's generated over 500 memberships during the coronavirus for their reoccurring revenue. But that's part of their model. And so I'm so excited about that. So let me ask you, we all curious.
And what is their average membership?
Their average membership right now is $4.99 a month.
Well, that's their highest.
That's their highest, but a lot of people are going into
$250 to $4.99, but a lot of them are buying their $4.99. I don't really know what their average is, but
for each level,
it's up there.
Yeah, and they even said, they told, I was on there, they're like, we wish we would have went a little bit higher. You know, they had the opportunity. So, you know, talking about going a little bit higher, let me ask you, does the model change?
Always.
And how often should they change it?
So, you know, the main model is the main model. So once you set how you're going to generate revenue, how do you generate leads and all that. But we just got hit, for example, with the coronavirus. Now, of course, you had to pivot, adapt, make changes. We made changes to our business.
We're sitting at one of our changes.
We made a lot of changes. We changed our membership program. We helped our client change their membership program. We built this studio. So we definitely made changes. And if you don't change, actually, that's a big mistake people do, is they get stuck, and then you flatline. Then you get comfortable, and you just keep doing the same thing day in, day out. And what do they say? If the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. It just does not happen. So yes, it's good to have the foundation of the business model, but it's never ending. You always have to tweak and change and modify. But your main big rocks are the rocks, right? It's the way we do business. But then you can fine tune and tweak and improve as you go along, for sure.
And we have questions coming in, so definitely keep your questions coming in. And as we go through, we'll ask Dori, the expert, to answer your questions. I'm so excited. So in the book, you know, the business model, we already talked about earlier is definitely not the same as the business plan.
Mhm.
Would you recommend that they did their business plan definitely first before they even thought in their head what their model's going to be?
Yeah, and that's one misconception about the business plan is people think that they need a business plan only when they open,
Mhm.
but in all reality, you need a business plan every year. And that's when you do the tweaking and the changing, unless of course you get hit with a disruption like what we just did. So it is very important to really have both. At least it keeps you sharp, it keeps you on target, know exactly what you need to do as you go along. But your business plan doesn't go in depth as your business model does. So they really need to focus on these major parts of their business, like the marketing, like the sales, like the operations, like the revenue generation. So all those things are very important to really have as part of the business model.
Now, throughout the book, you talked about, manuals and models, and obviously we believe every department should have its own model.
Mhm.
And I mean,
Own manual.
and their manual is the model for that department. And we have so many, I love our manuals, and every coaching call, I think every coaching call is like, don't forget to go back to that manual,
Yeah.
the manual, or they'll be like, I read it somewhere. And I'm like, you read it in the manual,
Yeah.
grab that manual again. And I actually had a new client today, and she was so excited. Diana Adams, when we got on with her, because she's a new fine high member, and she's like, the first thing I have to tell you, I printed all my manuals. She's like, I have 9 manuals. They're in 3-ring binders, and they're color-coded to match hers. But she was so excited. But I have to tell you, so many people don't print those first so that they can get things going for them. So let me ask you, how would someone know if their business model is working or not?
How much money are you making? And not gross, I'm talking net. Are you profitable? And if you are profitable and you're reaching capacity and you're making, good improvements, then you definitely have a good business model. But if you're like a lot of people that reach out to us, normally they're in the situation where they're generating revenue if they've been open for a while, but they're not profitable, so big mistake. Or they're just starting out right now and they want to get into the business the proper way. But yeah, definitely you need to make sure that you do whether you have your own manual. I think this is the mistake that people make. I'll start with that. A lot of people have everything in their head, especially when you're a leader and you're trying to do so many things, and you're just like, it all starts piling up in your head. And then you start hiring people, and then you wonder, like, what am I going to train her on now? And you start taking a piece of paper here, a piece of paper there, and you're making your list of things that you want to talk to them about. And it's crazy. It's a waste of your time. So now picture this. Let's say I hire a brand new person for my guest relations department, and I have my guest relations audio. I have my guest relations manual. I have all the information for the software system that he or she needs to learn. So I have everything that I need. It's almost like a department, a manual, or a training in a box. So you hire that person. First you go over the employee manual, then the orientation manual, then the department manual, and then they get to go study and learn, and then come back and tell you what they studied and learned. So I want to make your life easier, because a lot of people are so disorganized with their training material. Even the ones that have it.
Right.
Like searching in your computer to find a manual is ridiculous. And believe me, I've been on site with some people, and I say, oh, well, where's your manual? Oh, it's in here somewhere. And half an hour later, they still can't find it. 45 minutes later, they're still looking for it. So I want you to be organized with your training material. It's very, very important. Now, if you are a member with us, we keep things organized for you on Med Spa Biz University. So everything is nicely laid out. But if you're not, then you need to create your own little hub where everything lives in it. Now, the other little suggestion I like to give you is the fact that you should start videotaping all your training. So now you have it in writing, you have it as a webinar, you have it as a podcast or an audio, you have it as a video, and it should all sit in this folder on your computer. And inside each folder is each department. So if I've hired someone from the guest relations, I can go to my training folder. Inside my training folder, I'll click on guest relations, and here's all my material for my guest relations. So now I can just deliver that information to my new hire. Now think about it. What opinion is she having of my company already? If I did that.
But you have your stuff together.
I have my stuff together. Now imagine what impression this person would have if I'm not organized, I'm not ready for them, things are here and there and everywhere. What impression is that person gonna have? They're like, oh my God,
they don't really
did I join
know
the right company?
of them, right?
Like, well, not only that, it's like, what kind of impression? It's all about image and impression. It's all about getting the team member to buy in. And the more organized you are with your training material, the better culture you're going to have with your team. We'll be talking a little bit more about team and things in future chapters. But the guest relations department, I'm mentioning it because in this chapter, I do go into it a little bit, just to give you an idea of how important it is.
And that actually ties into some questions that we had about people asking about the guest relations. They have them and they're like, what do we do? We have leads coming in. Do you have manuals for them to teach them how to call? I mean, one of the most key things that you talk about is answering the phone. And it's like,
it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's so bad how phones are answered. Here you are, you spend all your money on your marketing model, right? You're printing money to advertise or do whatever campaigns you're doing, and then the phone rings and you have some doofus answering the phone and totally not reserving your consultations.
Yeah, I want to mention something really quick, Dori, just from my own experience of being here. When you print off these manuals and when you record these training sessions, then you're also giving the employee, the team member, the opportunity to not just learn while on site.
Exactly.
Not learn on the fly.
Yes.
But they actually have the opportunity, if they choose, to then go home and put extra into what they want.
And you know what's so good about this, Sarah, what you're just mentioning is that it shows you what kind of person they are too. Like, that's what I love about Sarah. Sarah's so funny. So, you know, our phone calls are recorded here, right? For quality assurance. So every once in a while, she'll come to my office. And that's what I love about our team. She'll knock on my door and say, Dori, I have a recording I want you to listen to. and she goes home and on her own time, and she listens to ways on how she can improve herself, whether it's training that we've done for our team, whether it's training we've done for clients so she can help people more, whether it's just her own personal development. Those are the kind of people that you want. So what she's talking about is if you create these manuals and you give them to the team, it's going to show you how dedicated they are. So if somebody does not go home and actually learn on their own time, that tells you they're just here, they're getting dollars for minutes. Right. And those are not the kind of people that you want. You want the people that put their heart and soul into their career and want to advance, and they're showing you that by what they do at home on their own time.
So, you know, let's shift a little, because like you just mentioned, in the book, you talked about several different structures. You know, you did mention the guest relations, and like you said, we're going to talk more in depth about it later. But, you know, let's talk a little bit more about each of these structures. We have our marketing, we have our sales, we have our finance, we have our operations, we have our guest experience. Do you want to dive in a little bit more, let's say, how their marketing structure should be?
Model, yes.
Model.
So the marketing model actually is the key. Like I said, if you don't have clients, you have nothing. So my big focus with the marketing would be, how are we going to generate leads? That should be your number one question. You should not sleep at night until you have the answer to that question. How are we going to generate leads? And the more leads you generate, I should say leads of your target market, not just any leads, because any leads doesn't do you any good. You want qualified leads who are interested in what you want to offer. And when you do that, Now you're working on your marketing model. So that should be the first thing. How do I generate leads? Once you figure that out, by the way, in the marketing plan, those of you who were at the Leap Ahead, you have an entire marketing plan that focuses on how to generate leads. So if you don't know yet how, you need to go and reread that manual. But generating leads, and then the conversion from lead into a consultation. So part of my marketing is generating that lead, but then part of the marketing is doing cross marketing inside. So even if they just touch on these two models, how do we generate the lead, and then how do we get the team members to cross market between each other? That's part of your marketing model. Now, of course, there are so many things that you can do to help you with marketing, from whether it's social media marketing, whether it's direct mail, whether it's a billboard. I mean, there are so many things. So you need to decide, as part of the model of marketing, which marketing mix are you going to participate in? What are you going to use to generate leads for your company? So that would be my main focus with the marketing model.
And I think if they're deciding to put multiple revenue streams into their marketing mix, they need to track them. That's one thing that we see when we start working with the new client. You see that their marketing dollars, all of a sudden they spent $10,000 in a month, and you're like, well, where'd it go? But they don't know where, they don't know what stream is working, so that if it's not working, you can stop it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's so many.
The reason they don't know is because, first of all, they're not tracking where the leads are coming from. And the guest relations department is not asking, how did you find out about us, when the phone rings, which is a crime. I guarantee you, you call a place right now and see if they ask you that question. I'll be willing to bet $500 that they will not ask you that question. They just don't. Again, that's because we don't have that model that they need to follow in order for them to do their work effectively.
And one thing I have to say is the Leap Ahead. If you're on and you did not get to attend the Leap Ahead, we do have it on demand, but Dori goes, I mean, there's 3 whole segments about marketing, which was amazing, teaching them how to do their avatar, which is so important to help them generate that leads.
Yes, for sure.
So now let's talk about a sales model.
Yes.
How are they going to create?
So the sales is all about the revenue generation. So now that we got the client in the place, what's our sales model? How do we generate revenue? And this is probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see. Number one is you don't even have a consultation room in your place, and that's your sales center. That's where all the magic happens. And if you don't have that, then, you know, maybe because of the space situation or whatever, even if you don't have that, you must do the consultation to generate sales. So to me, the consultation process, from the minute the guest relations answers the phone to how they reserve the consultation to when they come in. My big pet peeve with sales models is most people do a la carte sales, where I much prefer to do customized program sales and then a membership. And that's where everybody drops the ball, is that you work too hard and you spend too much money on marketing because everybody's coming in doing that one a la carte treatment, and then we hope and pray that they come back. And then they don't even come back. So you just wasted a brand new client for nothing. Okay. So my advice to you with the sales model, and again, we're going to dive into that more and more as we go through the book, but your sales model needs to focus on going away from a la carte, where, for example, they call in, they want to come in for a facial, they come in, you just do the consultation for the facial, and then they leave. Well, that's not very smart. You just left a lot of money on the table. Instead, the business model we teach is you should do that head-to-toe consultation that we talk about. You should customize a program for everything that they need. And then you do the program. And once you're done with the program, then you do the membership. And that's really, it's so simple, you guys. This is not rocket science. It's so simple. You just have to implement it. And those of you who were at the Leap Ahead, by the way, I would love to hear from you to see if you implemented that sales model, if you don't mind writing in the chat box. And once you implement that sales model, oh my God, you will just crush it. You'll kill it. You'll be just totally amazing. I mean, we have clients who made $1 million more in revenue year over year simply by tweaking the sales model.
I'm looking. I see Leap Ahead graduates on, so
Yeah.
I'm curious if they're gonna put in if
Yeah,
they've
come on,
implemented.
come
or
on.
they
Tell
might
me
be embarrassed
what
to
you
say they didn't.
implemented. Well, they better.
Woo.
I'm gonna get the whip out.
You know, I
Yeah.
have to say, I see a name on our Zoom, and it's Dr. Navarro. And when she joined our Flying High, she was, during the coronavirus, she actually joined. She realized, I need help now. And she was implementing constantly, and it's so nice to see. So, you know, shout out to Dr. Navarro. It's happy to see you here. So I have a question. You had mentioned the guest relations department, Dori, and someone asked, what's the best way to get their guest relations department going now? Do you have tools to help them, and what should they do?
Yeah, well, we definitely have the tools. So we have the manuals, the audios. I mean, this is a very intense educational program. It even has a test.
It does.
Which we recommend. No one should be able to answer your phone unless you've tested them before they actually start answering your phone. But the best way to really improve your guest relations department is, first of all, to have the tools to do it so you can train them. If you have your own tools, God bless, then just train away. If you don't, then you need to tap into some tools that are going to be helpful. And then you just got to train and train and train and train. Just like if you were going for the Olympics or you're playing for the NFL or the NBA or whatever. These guys don't just get hired, and these are pros, right? Yeah, we hire a college student that's going to be leaving you in 4 years or in 2 years. So you're hiring someone. It's like marrying someone and knowing you're going to get a divorce. Would you marry someone if you know in 4 years you're going to get a divorce? Would you? I wouldn't.
No.
That's stupid. So that position is so important that you really need to have career-minded people in it, and you should no longer view it as an entry-level position. That's a high-level position. And when you look at this position in that manner, then your whole mindset is going to change. Because if you have almost like a managerial type of person and somebody who's career-minded that wants to advance, then you don't want to invest in their education and you want them to do better. And when you get your guest relations department under control, frankly,
miracles happen.
They do.
Wow.
I mean, it's just amazing transformation for your business. Totally amazing transformation. And I can't say this strong enough for you to really train them, invest the time in training them, and you'll see the great results that they will produce for you.
When I remember in the book you mentioned about secret shopping.
Mm-hmm.
So should they do their secret shopping? How should they do secret shopping to know if their training is working?
Yes, actually we could do that for you because it's a phone call. So we can actually call your place, ask certain questions and see how they answer the phone. And like I said, our phone calls are recorded, so you'll be able to listen to them. You'll be shocked. That used to be one of my favorite things that we did during the Leap Ahead in person, is calling all these places. And it's just, your jaw drops. I remember one time during a Leap Ahead, we had 2 doctors sitting up in the front row, and we called their place. And I pretended that I was interested in Botox. I said, well, can you tell me a little bit about who does it, how much, blah, blah, blah. So she goes on, oh yeah, Tara does it. Yeah, she's really good. That's the tone of voice that I have. Yeah, she's good. And then I said, well, what happens if it doesn't work? She's like, well, you know, it doesn't work 20% of the time.
Oh, no.
And that's exactly what these 2 doctors sitting in the front row, they were like, their jaw totally dropped.
Oh,
like,
God.
What do you mean? Oh, but they wanted to like jump through the phone and just like.
Where's Herbie? We have Herbie from Leap Ahead.
But and then I said, well, what would happen, you know, like after you told me 20, well, so if it's me, what do I do? Do I have to pay again? She's like, oh yeah.
Oh,
So
poor
those are the
doctors.
things that are happening. So whether you have a friend that can call your place to see, whether you have us call, you definitely need to know what's going on in your place. And if you don't secret shop your guest relations, you don't know.
Right.
Unless you have a recording system where you can go and listen to the phone calls.
You know, sometimes hearing yourself back on them, you don't think you say some of the things, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe
I
that,
said
right?
that,
Like,
yeah.
oh, I did say that.
Yeah.
It's a shocker, but it can be a good tool.
That's because they don't know their stuff.
Mhm.
But if you handed someone, like you're an actor or an actress and you're on Broadway, they hand you a script, right? Here's the play. What do?
You study.
You
and
memorize
study,
it
and you memorize
because you're going to be in a show in front of lots of people. But that's where we're putting them. So we're hiring these people. We're not giving them this, and we're saying good luck. Figure it out.
because they on a show.
Yeah, we're setting them up for failure
Yeah.
instead of setting them up for success. That's exactly a great analogy, actually, for you to think about. So if they are on a show, they're your guest relations show actresses and actors. So if you give them this on a silver platter and say, here, go study it, because working here, you have to know this stuff. And I'm going to give you a week and a half to learn it. And there's a test back here that you need to do it. And then we're going to test your phone skills, and we're going to test your software skills to see how quickly you can make an appointment, how quickly you can change a reservation, how quickly you can sell a membership.
Mhm.
Those are all essential parts of your business model for this department. But if you just leave it for a chance, what kind of conversion rate are you going to have at your front desk? You're going to suck. And you don't want that.
Mhm.
It's so easy, you guys. It is so easy. You just have to invest the time in teaching them. And then once they learn it, and you tie the compensation, we're going to talk
Right.
about compensations. And once you give them the material, they study, you tie the compensation and rewards to it, you're golden. You're going to rock it.
Well, and I think some of it starts on that whole hiring process, right? We have that clarity hiring manual where you show them your expectations right up front.
Mhm.
It's there's no mystery.
Yeah.
Like here at InSPAration Management, when someone interviews, there is no mystery what's expected of you.
Mhm.
I mean, there isn't. They know right out the gate what it is. But I mean, like, you can hear the conviction in your voice when you talk about how important these are.
Mhm.
I mean, and I feel like sometimes I like just went to church, like, hallelujah, get a manual and
Amen.
practice. You know?
Amen.
Like you get goosebumps sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's your livelihood.
Right.
It's you went into business to make money, not to wing it. You did not go into business to wing it. Come on, guys. You can do this. And you need to do this. Because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? Nobody's going to do it. You're the business owner. You got to take charge. You got to take charge, and you got to get it done. You got to lead the way. You got to get that model down. Not in your head. It needs to be down on paper. So those are the two things. So marketing and sales are, oh my gosh, they're just super, super important for your success.
So I have Sarah who just typed in here, and she's like, my front desk needs a lifeline, Dori. Where do I go to get them this manual and your training?
Oh my
Because it's
gosh.
not just, they have to have, yes, we have the audio, yes, we have the manual, but they need the whole system.
You need the whole model.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Talk to Sarah. She'll help you out, or go to the shop. You can buy them a la carte. But as I just mentioned, we don't like a la carte either. So I just told you not to do that, right? But it is an option for some people that are not willing to totally invest in their future. So you can either become a member and gain all the manuals, or you can just go get it a la carte from the shop. So either way.
Can you tell us, I mean, I know what manuals they should have, but what manuals do you recommend that they should start off with? If they're
Well,
not going to do the
If I'm going to do just one,
Mhm.
I would definitely start with the guest relations. I mean, that's the heart of your operation. That's where the money, you're spending money on marketing. The phone is ringing. And if you don't convert,
It's a waste.
It's a total waste. I mean, this to me is very important. And then the consultation process would be the sacred system. So the guest relations is the 3 C's: call management, the check-in, and the checkout. Perfection. That's what I want you to do. I want you to perfect them. And then if you want to move on to the next one, would be the sacred system, which is how to do the guest consultations. And that would be my next business model, is again on the sales side.
And then just to say, like, they shouldn't confuse their technical manuals with
clinical.
these clinical,
no.
There is definitely, like, we have the
Totally
don't
separate.
sell, recommend, which is for their providers. They need that along with their clinical manual.
Yes. Well, don't confuse the 2 different educational programs. So you're hiring someone who's going to be a provider. Of course, they need all their information, all their the protocols for how to do the treatment, how to recommend the right treatment, how to recommend the right products, what's in the treatment, what's in the product, all the science behind it, the efficacy, everything that they need to know as a professional. But then where you drop the ball is that you don't teach them the business side. So I could have the best injector, the best laser tech, the best esthetician, but if she's not taking care of my clients and truly doing a proper consultation, she's not upgrading, she's not recommending retail products, she's not doing things according to my business model, I don't care how she is, how good she is, she's costing me money. And I don't want anybody on my team that's going to cost me money. I work too hard not to have my entire team focused on what is it that we're trying to do here.
Right.
We're trying to provide a service for clients to help them feel and look their best. And if we don't truly recommend with the business side, then we're letting them down. And that's really the mindset with your business model that you need to have. The business model to me is that if you give people what they want, you automatically get what you want. And when we teach our team that philosophy, that yes, this is what we need to do here. This is our purpose. Our purpose is to truly help you. And if we drop the ball, we're not going to be in business very long. That's why so many places shut down during the coronavirus, because they didn't have a good, solid business model with everything that we're talking about, with the recurring revenue model. All those things add up to success. And again, it's not rocket science, you guys. This is so simple. You just have to follow the blueprint. And we perfected this model. I'm proud to say.
No, I agree. I think one of the key reasons why when we did the Flying High, their guest relations is right there on the top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of the first things that you talk about, you say low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the low-hanging fruits that are the most valuable
Very
ones
true.
that you can change over.
Yeah.
So I have a question here. You mentioned secret shopping. I have a couple of people, even though you don't go on site, will we do secret shopping and on the phone still for people?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's easy enough to do. We just have to call, ask the right questions, and then we give them a report based on the conversation that we had.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Michelle is asking, I've always been hesitant to invest in a lot of training because then the employees will take the knowledge and go elsewhere.
Yeah.
What's our answer to Michelle?
Oh, Michelle, my friend. I have a saying for that.
I actually use it on my call today.
Imagine not training them and them staying.
That's what I said.
Imagine not training them and them staying. Listen, this is part of being an entrepreneur. You're gonna you should be happy. You've developed somebody. So even if they leave, God bless them. You just bring somebody else in. I mean, some people are going to be that kind of person. They want more advancements. They want to go open up their own business. But that's just part of doing good by others. Like, could you imagine if I didn't train Tara and Sarah and Megan and Martina and all? I mean, like, why would I be afraid of that?
We know I needed a lifetime of training. I'm still getting training.
We all do.
But I mean, you're a perfect example of that. If no one knows your history, like you were in an industry and you met your cap, and I could only imagine your CEOs and who you work for being so happy if they could see you now and what you've accomplished because you learned. And look at what now you're training other people.
It's advancement. You just have to do your best. You have to invest in training, because if you don't, then you're going to be half, you know what, and it's not worth it. You have to, could you imagine if the Celtics or the Magic decided, oh, we're not going to coach our team? No, just let them go play. Go play.
Have fun.
Have fun. Good luck winning the game. No, it doesn't happen that way. It's all about training.
Right. And I have to say, if you're on here, as I see some people that did not come to the leap ahead, Dori, what would you say right now to them that they're missing, not having been a part of the leap ahead, and that now it's on demand, right? It's right there at their fingertips.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what is it that they really want to accomplish. If you want to reach success the fastest way possible, then my recommendation would be to go and make the investment. I mean, we're talking about $1,500 stupid dollars.
Right.
Like, you can't even, if you don't want to invest $1,500 to get an entire blueprint, what we're talking about right here, you're a moron.
You are.
I don't even want to work with you. I'm sorry, but $1,500. I spend this year. I'm gonna spend $80,000 on my education.
Right.
80,000. So if you don't want to invest $1,500, I'm sorry. I don't think you deserve to be in business. I really don't, because you're gonna wing it. You're gonna try to figure things out. It's gonna take you forever. You might survive, but how profitable and how successful are you gonna be? I like to work smart. I like, if I'm going, actually Jim Rohn says this all the time. If you want to be good at something, like if you want to be a good speaker, you study speaking. If you want to be a good writer, you study writing. If you want to be a good business person, you study business. So if you want to be a good actor, you study acting. So how can you not?
Right?
So that tells me that you don't want to be good. So fine, don't be good. Just go somewhere else.
I love your honesty, but the thing is, it's reality.
It is.
It is.
But you know what?
Reality.
But you know what? That's why only the top 5% of businesses are super successful. And 95% of the rest are just existing, barely make ends meet. And that's a fact, by the way.
It is.
So what you need to actually, I'm writing an article exactly about this. It's going to be coming out here soon. But you have to ask yourself, do I want to be the top 5% of all businesses and have a successful business? Or then do I need to be with everybody else? I don't know about you. I don't like to be with everybody else. I like to be on top.
No one wants to be average.
That's like the worst thing. So why would you? God gave you a brain.
That's right.
So why can these other people be in the top 5%? Why? Because they do all the right things. And the rest, they're just wishing, dreaming.
They're really not doing their professional obligation.
No, they're just existing. And that's not, I mean, that's not how I live.
And I think they're actually working harder.
Yeah. That's funny, because that's how I finished the conversation with this new client this morning when I was talking with her, the kidney doctor. I'm stuck on that word. Is it nymphologist? I think is how they say it. Anyway, that was a new one for me. Like a kidney.
Our nephrologist.
I think it's
something like that. Anyway, so I finished my conversation because she had just bought a private coaching time with us. So I said to her, listen, we're in a situation now, thank God, that we don't have to just work with anybody. We want to work with people that are ready to make the investment. They're willing to put in the work. They're willing to commit to excellence. And all they have to do is follow what we tell them. Those are the people that I want to work with, that you want to work with. And if that's not that person, then God bless you. Move on. You don't need us. You don't need us. That's where we are now in our business, thank God. So we want to help you, and we want to help guide you, but you're going to have to be ready to receive.
Right.
And that's what we talked about in Think and Grow Rich when we did the book gathering, is you have to know what you want. and get yourself prepared to receive it. And once you receive it, you apply it, your life will never be the same.
Amen. I agree. So
4 minutes.
yeah. So can we answer this question? And she might have not caught it while we were going along, from Priscilla here. She said, I don't have time to write manual story. What do I do?
Well, most people don't actually.
And if they did, that's not good.
Yeah, well,
It means they're not busy.
well, and they're not focused on the reinventing the
Right.
wheel again. So, I mean, we have, and again, I'm not telling you this to sell you. Frankly, it doesn't matter. You can buy it or not. But we have 9 manuals. That is really your business model. 9 of them. And you can just take them. We even give it to them in a Word document. Like, nobody does that. No other company on the planet that I know gives you the material that you can customize and edit. So my advice to you would be to actually take these manuals, customize them, make them your own, and then that's all you have to do. You don't have to start from scratch. Like, it has taken us years to perfect these. Like, why would you want to start from scratch?
It is. And like I told you, the Flying High member, Diana, this morning, she was so excited because she was like, it was so easy for her to sit down and really put in her head what she wanted. And then you literally put a symbol where they need to customize. And she was like, oh, this, like, she's like, Dori literally gave me manuals for dummies, if you will.
Yeah,
She
it
was
is.
like, I literally just went right through the book.
That's exactly what I modeled that after.
Manuals.
I love the dummies books. You know that.
Yeah, I do. We have almost the whole library of it.
We have lots of them because I'm a dummy. I just study a lot.
Oh, I love her.
All right. Well, the next chapter is going to be, what's the next chapter?
The next chapter is introducing new profitable revenue streams, Dori.
We're going to teach you how to make more money. So make sure you join us. So we're doing this every other Monday. And yes, we have only 2 minutes. And if you have any more questions, please, you can always submit them. Let us know your takeaways, what you're liking about this. We're always striving to improve. So please, if you have some suggestions, it's thundering here.
You could suggest that we get, new Florida weather.
Yeah. Every time we do this,
it's thundering.
It's thundering. So anyway, I really appreciate you being with us. It's so much fun doing this and recapping the book that I wrote and having Tara and Sarah. So you hire people with A's at the end. So thank you so much, you guys, for being with us and learning. And I want to encourage you that there's really no limit. You have infinite possibilities even now to excel and do great. So do it. Get excited, get motivated, get going. There are so many things that you can do. We still live in the best country on the planet. So just go out there and do your part. Do your part and you will see, you will succeed.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to get more chapters under our belt. I love it. So
All
we're
right,
so
guys.
thankful to have everybody, and we can't wait to see you in 2 Mondays.
Yeah.
So
2
as
weeks.
Dori's favorite saying,
Stay safe and healthy. And until next time, stay inspired.
Bye.